Okay, for this training video, what we're going to talk about is our BuyBot Pro tool that we use. The first thing you're going to have to do is do a setup for this. So yours will not look like this as soon as you download the extension. And the extension, you should have already downloaded it. By the time you're viewing this video, it'll be in your training. So whenever you pull it up, it's going to ask you for the keys, and it's also going to ask you for the email, and you should have those attached to your training. So as soon as you enter those, you'll see this right here. And then the first thing you have to do to set up is go to Settings, and under Google Sheet ID, you have to enter the Google Sheet that we will provide you. It's called the Potential Buy Sheet. So you'll have to enter that right here, and you'll also have to customize that. So right here we have it customized. I'm going to attach a screenshot of this picture right here so that you'll know how to set it up, or you can just pause the video, either way, whatever's easiest for you. And then what you'll do is you will enter, since we already have the potential buy sheet set up how we like it, you'll just enter the letters into each of these columns that matches up to the buy sheet. So once you've done that, you can click Save and Sync. And then it should update that. Do a test one just in case. Sometimes it doesn't go through for whatever reason and it doesn't save, and I have to do it a couple times. That's just something that we haven't figured out how to avoid. And then the next thing that you need to enter the stock capital. So this right here should at least say 10,000. And then max buy count, we can leave that blank because we don't have a max buy count. And then the rest of these, this is the island, so this is what you would call the island. And then right over here you have your graph. Let's see, right here. So this is a graph similar to what you may have used in the past, similar to Keepa right here. Now, if you already have Keepa and you look at this graph and you determine that you don't want to keep it just because you're used to Keepa, then you can actually toggle this graph off to turn it off. And then also right here, well, let's see, where is it at? Okay, so this is the island right here, not this. Okay, so the VA toolbox, you can leave this toggled on, and everything else you just leave as is and save. So once you have your settings ready, then you can go through like you're checking to see if a product is potentially good for us. The first thing you always want to do is see if we can sell it. So you want to log in. And then the next thing I will do is check if it matches our BSR standards. And then of course you want to check to see if the sizing, color, quantity, model numbers, if that's applicable, all of those things, make sure everything matches. And then after you're sure about the quality, then you can just simply enter the buy price from the supplier. So for this website, we don't have tax, and we can create a list of those for you so you don't have to enter tax for those. And then, but we also do have a discount right here for the holiday. So I will show you how I do it. So I take 10, and then since the discount is 25% off, you will times it by the opposite of that. So minus 25 from 100, we have 75. So what we would have left over after our discount of 25% would be 750. Now there's another way you can do it that's a two-step process. If it's a little bit easier for you, you can do 10 times 0.25, and then subtract that from 10 again, and then we get the same answer. So it's just the discount of 25% is what you're trying to figure out. So our buy price is $7.50. Once you enter that in, you want to click Analyze. And then there's a couple things we want to look at. We want to look at the profit, the ROI, and the suggested purchase quantity. Now for our standards, you know that our standards are either ROI of 30% or profit of $4 or both at the same time, of course. And that all, the suggested purchase quantity is determined on your amount of capital that you put in there, and based on the BSR, the ROI, and all of those different things. So what it will also tell you right here, so this is a good item, and then it'll turn red if it's a bad item, and it will also tell you why. So there will be a couple reasons potentially. You might have the price going up and down a lot, so it'll turn red or yellow for price stability. It'll turn red immediately if you aren't eligible to sell it. It'll turn red, yellow if Amazon's on it. Depending on how good the product is, how much stock Amazon has, it might be yellow, but typically it considers Amazon being on a product as negative. So right here, you're going to have your estimated sales for the month. So this is what they think based on the data that they have, the amount of sales that it had in the previous months. And right here you have your sellers. So if it is green, it's going to be a FBA seller. If it's just gray like this and it has a stock quantity and seller information and price, then that's going to be an FBM. We're not going to consider them to be a competitor of ours, really. We're just going to consider the green to be competitors. So there's 6 other sellers we have to compete with at this price. And then you have yellow, which is going to be Amazon. So if this box is yellow and it has any stock, then that would be considered Amazon. So right here you have your total seller stock. So that is all of the stocks that they have figured out that each seller has. And then your total prime sellers is 6 for this one. So like I said, BuyBot Pro also has, similar to the Keepa chart, it has this chart right here. I like this one a little bit better than Keepa now, because now Keepa has pink lines and they charge for theirs. So this is all included in our account. So that's good. And then let's see. It also says an IP radar. So this is, they have a system that they have determined if they have received an IP or one of their people with an account has received an IP, you can submit it and they will put it as an IP risk tolerance right here. So it might be red if they know that in the past the IPs have been submitted. So once you have completed your full check and everything looks good, then you can add it to the potential buy sheet. You can leave this blank right here. Okay, so right here, what you're going to put, if you found that it's a good product and it meets our criteria, then you're going to put the supplier URL. So you'll just right click on the supplier URL over here and copy and then paste it in. And then you can just click this green box, and as soon as it says copy to your sheet, you can move on to your next product and it will be on your sheet. It should be the first one up. So always look at the first available blank space. That's why on my sheet I will always add and then insert new ones above it so that it adds it to the very top of the sheet instead of adding it to the bottom of the sheet. So it always enters into the first blank row. So once you've done that, we'll look over the product and see if it's a good potential buy. And you've completed everything you need to complete on the BuyBot Pro tool.